whenever I talk about the Orville, I'm just like a beacon of positivity. Like, I can't help it. I really enjoy Seth MacFarlane's comedy with Star Trek. Like, 'cause he gets it. He's a fan, like, it's kind of like how you were saying that, a lot of the fan projects and fan videos are, like, superior in quality in a lot of ways to a lot of other Star Trek.
New data card. I just synthesized it yesterday. The color's called Executive Goldenrod. Has a hand-cut bevel. Tritanium.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was a channel that I'd found recently, and I just gunned my way through like all of their content because it was all awesome. It was all set like sort of original series kind of stuff, so original series style sets and uniforms, looking 60s.
Wow. This mission isn't dangerous.
Hey, we're Starfleet. Risk is our business, remember?
But it was just so awesomely modern as well. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do when taking something old and trying to make it for a new audience, or whatever the phrase is, like, what you should do is just take the old thing and basically keep it mostly intact, but have a fresh coat of paint, and people will love it.
Yes, Beck. Science the science.
And some people might think that's derivative or something, but I don't like it when I watch Star Trek Discovery and things look more advanced than they do in the Next Generation. Like,
yeah, Discovery really kind of, I feel it missed the mark on that one. And people are like, oh, but if you made it look like the original series, like, it would be so totally rubbish. It's like, well, how can the fan projects do that?
And I thought you were the one that said a mini skirt and go-go boots were a bad idea.
Guess I'll just have to end the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you had to hit this balance with, paying homage and also, like, making something new. But you can make new stories set in the old environments, even if it looks weird by modern standards. If it's a good show, people will watch it. Like, it's more important, I think, that people, like, pay attention to the story, rather than the visual effects. Like, the visual effects are good, and they can be really good, but they're not the be-all, end-all, like, of what makes something good or not. Like, not objectively speaking, because there is no objective of what's good or not. If you enjoy something like Star Trek Discovery or Picard or something like that, like, you obviously are entitled to that opinion, but you shouldn't be upset when other people don't like it. We're not upset at you for liking what you like. We like things consistent and kind of the same. And I don't think that's such a bad thing, because you can mix the old with the new. It just, don't destroy what made it
everyone
good.
Has the right to criticize.
Oh yeah.
And that's okay. You don't need to go off on someone and totally hate someone just because they don't like the same things that you like, or they dislike something that you like.
And everybody just needs to chill a little bit and realize that, like, we're all entitled to our opinions, and you shouldn't, like, judge people based solely on that. Kind of ask yourself why they like something. Like, I can't stand how toxic the Star Wars fandom is now because of minute little details that almost nobody cares about except for the fans, And it's like, it's just weird how Star Trek is in this, it's in kind of a weird space where people still love it, but they're just not, like, they're not making as much, like, things like the classic Star Trek. They're not making as many, they're intentionally writing things different, moving things around, changing canon, and I don't think it's necessary all the time. Like, You don't need to be weighed down by a lot of your canon, but you don't need to change things that are established. Like, I feel like the warp scale is literally just a way to cover up when writers don't know how fast a spaceship is supposed to go.
Something that really sort of irks me about modern Trek, specifically Discovery, Strange New Worlds, is that these are prequels, but they keep interrupting and shoehorning in like random things into like prequel canon. Like, come on, there's lots of other ships that aren't called Enterprise that would be on the other side of Federation space doing exploring things that won't ever come into contact with the Enterprise, or they won't ever, like, the people on board them are not like 6 degrees of separation removed from Spock and Uhura,
Right.
and Nurse Chapel and Dr. Mbenga. They don't even need to be like mentioned or anything. We don't need a whole backstory on Captain Pike, because I don't like...
How did he get in that wheelchair, though? How did Han Solo get his blaster? Where did he meet Chewbacca? We have to answer all these things.
Having a whole series about a character who has such a tragic ending is... I find that quite upsetting and depressing. And I must not be the only person who thinks that way about it. I mean, who thought that was going to be a good idea? Just sort of let him just be in the past and not sort of dig up the character. And every time I see him and I want to like him, I just then remember how tragic the character is and what's going to happen to him, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing, and I feel like that's a lot of people's issue with New Trek, is that old Trek used to, at the end of every episode, we used to be lifted up, and now at the end of like every modern Star Trek series, we feel very let down and deflated, and like kind of doom and gloom sort of thing.